Good evening, welcome to tonight's Hearthstone Half Hour. I'm Hammy, hope you're well and good. And tonight is Pick Your Own Arena. So you folks have voted on Twitter and chosen, and tonight we're going to be playing Warrior. It was from Warrior, Paladin and Rogue, and Warrior's got your vote. So without further ado, let us jump off this fabulous slate image, which is, I believe, the art for Execute, but all zoomed in and very, very awesome, and jump into our arena. So what do we do? Oh, happy Leroy Day, everyone. It is the day that Leroy has been changed, and also the day that Starving Buzzard has been changed. So your Starving Buzzard now costs 5 mana, your Leroy also costs 5 mana. More on that another time. Or you can check youtube.com/FailCraft Casts. So let's jump into the arena and go through our usual formula as we wait for everyone to get live and settled in the chat. And you can join us on twitch.tv/FailCraft Casts every Tuesday to pick your deck. Let us run through as we select Warrior, as you have chosen, and people ponder that first card, how we try and roll with picking the arena. We do follow roughly 3 or 4 steps as we pick together. The first thing we do is we always try and review the deck at regular intervals. So we will, out of the 30 cards, maybe take a little breather after we've picked, say, 8, 16 and 24 cards. The reason for that being we can see what we have and review where the deck is going. Try and give it some kind of strategy or theme, see if the cards that we've already picked have some kind of theme and similar. So giving yourself a regular break when drafting arena and reviewing what you have is always a good idea. So we stop at 3 points. Number 2, when we stop, we always review, take a look center in the screen, that mana curve bar. Always see whether there's a lot of early game cards, 0 to say 3 mana, mid game cards or late game cards, and therefore what our deck is looking like in terms of how we're going to play. Lots of early game cards, maybe we are trying to rush. Lots of late game cards, maybe we need to try and control. And then last but not least, we do a final couple of things. When we look at the mana curve, we take a look at our balance of minions and spells just to see how we might play this deck. And then we also just walk through the deck every single turn. Turn 1 through turn 10, 1 mana through 10 mana. What are we going to drop and when? How are we roughly going to play? And then having reviewed all of those things, then we try and take a look and see if it will make any kind of strategy. That way, reviewing all of those things, you can then pick your future cards in your arena deck with that in mind. So reviewing regularly, taking a look at what kind of style deck you're playing, having a look at minions against spell balance, and then also running through your deck to give you the end goal of taking breaks and effectively changing your strategy and adapting your strategy as you go along to the cards that you have. So let us jump on into our Warrior draft. As always, whatever gets voted most in the chat is picked, and if there is a tie, then I can jump in and pick whatever I think we fancy. So our first pick upgrade, Light Warden or the Emperor Cobra. So we are playing Warrior. Upgrade, if you have a weapon, give it 1/1, otherwise equip a 1/3 weapon. Very good for warriors, especially if you have a big high damage low durability weapon. The Arcanite Reaper goes from a 5/2 to a 6/3. You're swinging for 6 3 times instead of 5 twice. Otherwise, that 1/3 weapon, not actually too bad, even used in some weapons warrior decks. Main reason for that, you can use that small 1-attack weapon to clear minions and put pressure down. Next up, Light Warden. Whenever a character is healed, gain 2. Well, brilliant in decks that heal. Warrior does not have huge amounts of healing. And then last but not least, the Emperor Cobra. 3 mana, 2 attack and 3 health, so slightly low attack for its mana cost. But that destroy any minion damaged by this minion ability, oh so powerful and oh so nasty. Throw that against an 8/8, however big the minion is, tap it with the Emperor Cobra, and then its ability will destroy it instantly. So very, very nice. And I think we're going to be going for Upgrade. Upgrade is number 1, a nice weapon choice there. So next up we have a Thralmar Farseer, a War Golem, and a Murloc Tide Hunter. As the chat is a tad on the quiet side this evening, I will be drafting bits that I want to pick, as well as things that you folks will pick as well. So, the Thralmar Farseer, 3 mana, 2 attack, 3 health. So, the Wind Fury effect means that, of course, this will swing in and do 2 attacks, or can attack twice. You can pick 2 different targets, of course, the turn after it's been summoned, as always. So, the slightly low attack is made up for, in theory, by the Wind Fury. War Golem, 7/7/7. Nothing really to say about this. It's a solid basic that will fly in and do some damage. And then last but not least, the Murloc Tide Hunter. Battlecry summoning a 1/1 Murloc Scout. So that is a 2 for 1. You get 2 cards for the price of 1. Good for rushing. Bit of a tough choice. I'm actually going to go with the Murloc Tidehunter because in Arena, 2 for 1s are never a bad thing. Getting more value for the cards that you drop is always good. Next we have the Arcanite Reaper, Nightblade, and the Razor Fen Hunter. So, Arcanite Reaper, that weapon that we were talking about, fantastic with an upgrade, may well be a very strong choice for us. Nightblade, high mana cost for its stats, but the battle cry of dealing 3 does some solid damage. And then, last but not least, the Razor Fen Hunter is another 2 for 1, very good in the early game. We'll put some pressure on as you see fit. And I think we're going to go for an Arcanite Reaper, too good to pass up considering we've already got that upgrade, so we're currently going towards a Weaponsy Warrior deck. Next we have a Rampage, Harvest Golem, and the Stone Tusk Ball. So Rampage, give a damaged minion 3/3. If you have a minion that's big and gets protected, then or is big and it can take some damage, that will make it even stronger. Harvest Golem, favourite of zoos, hunters, token decks, Watcher decks, all kinds of constructor decks, because it's another 2 for 1 and a very solid one. That Death Rattle of Summoning a 2/1 damage golem is incredibly solid. And last but not least, a Stone Tusk Ball 1/1 charging token. We are going to go for the Harvest Golem. Reason for that, just a really solid early game 2 for 1 minion, a better version, stronger, more livable, more damaging version of the Murloc Tidehunter. So we've got some nice early game tradability there. Next we have the Mogushan Warden, Tauren Warrior, and the Charge. So Mogushan Warden, big tank, low attack, but makes up for very high health. You'll throw it on the table, it'll stick for a while. I quite like the Tauren Warrior. Even though he has Taunt, when he enrages he gets +3, he will do probably 5 damage to something before he dies. And last but not least, Charge. Give a friendly minion 2 attack and charge as a spell. Very nice for getting minions into the fray, nice and quick. At the moment we've got relatively early gameage, but we've only drawn 4 cards, so we're going to probably go, I think, with the Tauren Warrior, nice solid basic. And we now have, next we have the Wolf Rider, Arathi Weaponsmith, and the Fiery War Axe. Wolf Rider, charge, comes in, does the damage, will then die next turn with that 1 health most likely. Good aggro card. The Arathi Weaponsmith, solid stats, should stick around, and then you get a 2/2 weapon as well, or we could go just directly for the weapon with the Fury War Axe. I'm actually going to go for the Weaponsmith, reason being I think we want to pad out some of our minions. Next up we have again Charge, Argent Squire, Executes. Well, we've already covered Charge, the Argent Squire, the Divine Shield. We can trade something with before it dies, and then Execute will let us destroy a damaged enemy minion. Very powerful control. Execute it is. So next we have a Rampage again. We have a Shield Block and a Wisp. And if one of our regular viewers was here, he would ultimately be picking Wisp for those good times. But I think what we're going to be grabbing in the absence of Rampage, good but solid, we need the big minions to cover it. Hey, Moldy! Oh, and suddenly a whole bunch of people are joining. Good evening, and it's great to have you with us. You join us. Oh, it's good timing. Okay, we have a Wisp. Just kidding. So we it was a great piece of timing. I mentioned that if somebody was here, they would pick Wisp, and then look who turned up. Fabulous stuff. Okay, so Rampage we've covered, but for the benefit of those joining, let's have a chat over it again. Giving a damaged minion 3/3. Good if you've got big minions that can take that kind of abuse to get buffed up again, but at the moment we don't, so we're going to have to see how that goes. Next up we've got Shield Block. Gain 5 armor, drawing a card, brilliantly solid card for 3 mana cost. So what does everyone fancy? Raj, you have the decider. Rampage. Rajanog still has the deciding vote. We have 1 vote for each. And then last but not least, we didn't cover it, so we will cover it. The Wisp. Well, the Wisp is free. Fabulous. It's 1/1. it may live before doing some damage. Beloved favourite, probably 5th in the pecking order to such cards as Acidic Swamp Ooze and many, many similars in the hearts of the wonderful people who watch this stream. So we need a deciding vote, given that we are split evenly across these 3 cards. Come on, Raj, do the right thing. Rajanor being the key choice around which this vote pivots. So we're almost at our 8 card review mark, so while folks decide to decide, let's just have a quick look at what we got. We picked Warrior, and so far we've been going probably a more early game aggressive weaponsy type Warrior. With Execute we have Control, Upgrade will let us grab that weapon, or upgrade our Arcanite Reaper, or indeed the 2/2 weapon that we summon with the Arathi Weaponsmith. Murloc, Tidehunter, Harvest Golem and Tauren Warrior give some very strong early game presence. Oh, change vote to Rampage. There we go. Mouldy has made the decisive vote, and in the interest of keeping things moving, let's keep cracking on. And we have Demolisher, Cold Light Seer, or Mortal Strike. The Demolisher, amazing. I say amazing. It is a much beloved favourite in Arena. You see it turning up. It causes problems. That 2 damage to random enemies just causes problems. Prince Demolisher, as it is known, the prince of many of an Arena draft that you folks have picked. Next up, Cold Light Seer. Battlecry of giving all other Murlocs +2 health. Fans of Murlocs will love it. If you've got a bunch of Murlocs, it's very strong. If you don't have Murlocs, well, it's okay. And last but not least, the Mortal Strike, dealing 4, but if you've got 12 or less health, you deal 6. So, lovely stuff. I think we have a vote on Mortal Strike. Mortal Strike is picked, and then just keep on rocking through. Let's go next. We have a Frothing Berserker. Ooh, this is a tough pick for you. An Armorsmith and another Prince Demolisher. So the Frothing Berserker, whenever a minion takes damage, gain 1. That can get big and nasty very, very quickly. Armorsmith, brilliant as well in a Control Warrior similar deck. Whenever a friendly minion takes damage, you gain some armour. Again, pretty solid. And then last but not least, Demolisher. The Prince has been overlooked last turn. Will he get picked this turn? A very, very strong 3 cards there. Welcome. That's 2 votes for the Demolisher straight up. A nice balance. He doesn't understand the meaning of no. Berserker. 2 votes for Demolisher, 1 for Berserker. Of course, it's entirely up to you. You can pick nice or you can pick nasty. As I sip a cup of tea, oh, Armorsmith, oh, Berserker. Oh, it's all mixing up and moving around. We've got a couple for the Berserker. It sounds as though Berserker is the vote. If we had Whirlwind, I'd go Berserker, or I think I have to go Demolisher here. Oh, the confusion. Okay, right, so Armorsmith Fazana. Okay, so we've got Armorsmith, 2 Berserker votes, Demolisher. Okay, Berserker actually gets the nod. And then next we have Heroic Strike of the Venture Co. Mercenary, or Cleave. So the Heroic Strike, give your hero +4. We can damage minions with our hero. We can damage heroes with our hero. Double bubble. 5 Venture Co. Mercenary. Well, the 5 mana is cheap for those stats, but then minions cost 3 more afterwards. So it gets accelerated out, but slows you down in other places. And then last but not least, Cleave, dealing 2/2. That's some great pressure against early game decks. So while you folks decide, I'm just going to quickly review what we've got so far. We've got a fairly even spread mana curve for the first half of the game. No real clues in that deck so far, apart from we're not late game. If we then take a look at spells versus minions, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 spells and 6 minions, and then we run through the mana curve. So we've got Execute, we can drop any time to remove big minions and similar. Upgrade, we can play early for a weapon or upgrade one of our other weapons. Rampage will buff a minion. Tidehunter and Harvest Golem give us 2 for 1 ability. Frothing Berserker we can throw down and potentially use for early game trades or as a late game finisher. Tauren Warrior gives us a bit of tanking. Mortal Strike for direct damage. Arathi Weaponsmith for a minion and a 2/2 weapon, and then an Arcanite Reaper that we can also buff up. And a massive vote for Cleave means that we jump onto Cleave and go for our next, which is Young Dragonhawk, Ironforge, Rifleman, or Stranglethorn Tiger. So this deck at the moment, it looks as though that we are trying to control in the early game with spells and get minion pressure on the table. And then next, who knows? We could keep this as an aggro deck, we could maybe turn it into a control deck. Moldy says, does anyone see the news on the technical alpha of Heroes of the Storm ending soon? Yes, so we certainly did. This week all minions are, all heroes in Heroes of the Storm are on free rotation. It's then going to be down for a week next week, and then who knows what's going to happen after that. Could it be, it'll be in beta? Is it going to be closed beta? Open beta? Who knows? Let's wait and see. Very exciting times indeed. Young Dragonhawk, Wind Fury. We can tap something twice if it doesn't die. The Ironforge Rifleman, 2/2, but we get the Battlecry of dealing 1 to pick something off. Or the Strengthform Tiger, Stealth, 5/5/5. It will hit the deck, probably not get taken out in one go, and then can swing in for some damage. The Speediness Tiger gets the nod. Let's keep it rolling. Next, Silverback Patriarch, Fury War Axe, or Shield Bearer. Trigger. Ooh, Trigger. T-I-G-G-R. Sounds like Tigger out of Winnie the Pooh. So Silverback Patriarch, a small 3-mana tank, but it will stick around for a bit before it gets removed. Fury War Axe goes very well with our early game pressure, and we can upgrade, not bad. Or the Shield Bearer, a bit of early game tankage, and again nice for cheap, but a full vote for Axe, very nicely done. Let's keep it moving. The Frostwolf Warlord, an Arcanite Reaper, or an Arathi Weaponsmith. So the orangey spirits are really looking for a weapon stack by the looks of things. Warlord, 1/1 for every other minion on the battlefield. That can hit down mid-game and give us a lot of additional pressure and scariness for a mid-game finish. Arcanite Reaper, quote, Reaper for said chop smashing, says Arno. And that is what a Reaper does. Don't forget we got one upgrade. We can change that 5/2 into a 6/3 for even more chop smashing, and we've already got one Arcanite Reaper. So there's lots of fearing the Reaper rather than don't fearing the Reaper. And then last but not least, the Arathi Weaponsmith. And again, we've got one of those already. We get the 3/3 minion for trades. We get a 2/2 weapon for more chop smashing, quote unquote. So what do you fancy? Ooh, votes for the Reaper. Someone likes the Weaponsmith, another Tigger. Christopher Robin. So, what do you fancy? It is looking like the Reaper is the choice. Reaper it is. Next, we have Execute, a Money Berserker, or a Strangle Thorn Tigger. Execute we have covered, we have one. Do we want another one? Do folks want controllability? A Money Berserker, Enraging in 3 attack, would give us additional early game scary and fearfulness for additional early game pressure, should we so choose. Stranglethorn really buffs out our mid game again. We've got one. Do you want another one? Do you want control? Hey, welcome, Maximo-san. Okay. Welcome to the Maximo-san. Okay, we have Execute. So, Execute is picked. What do we have next? We have a Daran Mage, an Ironbeak Owl, or Stone Tusk Boar. Okay, so the Daran Mage, spell damage +1, it'll stick around. We don't have huge amounts of spells, but it's a body on the table. The Ironbeak Cow, silences are splendid. Never a bad card. Seen in a lot of laddering decks. We'll probably find a use for that if we pick it. Stone Tusk Boar, 1/1/1, charge, do token damage, maybe don't die. It's an option. Useful in hunters. We're not a hunter. Owl, stop that. Oh, owl. Pain sounds from Flobbit there, indicating I think that he would like to draft an owl. So, a universal owl it is. Next up we've got Whirlwind, Battle Rage and Lord of the Arena. Whirlwind 1/2 all, that will certainly help our Frothing Berserker. May help us against Murloc decks or small minion decks if they show up. Next, Battle Rage. Draw a card for each damaged friendly character. That generally always gets you a couple of cards, so mana-wise it's generally quite efficient. Last but not least, Lord of the Arena. We're Taunt Light, so at the moment if you have a look at our mana card, we've got nothing beyond 5. Not the hugest health, 6 attack, 5 health. 4/6 mana, but it will wall some stuff. Maybe it could be a finisher. So really, I think that's a choice as to where you folks fancy taking this deck. We'll take another review at 20 cards and see where we are. And good evening if you just joined us. You join us drafting our own arena deck. We are picking a warrior, as you folks voted for on Twitter. And then we're going to play it in a couple of games and see how we go. Battle! Pondering and thinking. Battle Rage, says Maxi, thinking about some card drawing. Card drawing in card games is always good. That's my immortal wisdom. We've given up, we've forsaken Armor Smith, but we do have the Frothing Berserker. Whirlwind doing damage to 1 minion. Of course, Frothing Berserker gets bigger for every single minion Isles or opinions. Surprise me. Lord. One says battle, the other says Lord. At the moment, we have the deciding vote in the hands of Zano. Arena, there we go. Arena is picked. Next we have Commanding Shout, Prince Demolisher, and Emperor Cobra. Commanding Shout, your minions can't be reduced below 1, draw a card. So you can use those minions to trade away things that are big and scary. And they're not going to be killed, that's the main thing. So they survive another turn. Demolisher does what he pleases, he goes where he pleases. There's no stopping the Demolisher. And Emperor Cobra we already covered earlier on, but a very good token trading card in the early game. Drop it in the late game to potentially whip away big and nasty threats for a good mana efficiency. Well, welcome to Nooska, joining us live. So, do you fancy a Commanding Shout, a Demolisher, or a Emperor Cobra? Arena Man, Cobra, Demolisher. Zane going, just saying Arena Man, and letting me decide what an Arena Man is in this context. I'm guessing it could be Commanding Shout. Commanding, we've got to Arena Man, Cobra, Demolisher, Commanding. Zane's vote is the deciding one. I'm just trying to work out what it is. Currently sipping tea from a very fine N7 mug. Command, in comes Flobbit. Decisively. Next, Cold Light Oracle, Emperor Cobra, an upgrade. Ooh, okay, we've covered the Oracle. Each player drawing 2 cards, risky. Gives us cards, gives our opponent cards, could benefit us both, hinder us. It doesn't really ever hinder you drawing cards, unless you've got 10 cards and you're burning them away. Emperor Cobra, already covered. Upgrade, we've got 1. Do we want 2? We have, don't forget, we do have a Furry War Axe and 2 Arcanite Reapers. Just saying. Upgrade could be a tasty decision, but as always, it is your choice. Votes for upgrade, votes for Cobra, votes for upgrade again. Cobra, ooh, Cobra decisions coming. Let me refresh. Refresh you shall. So we've got a Cobra, got an upgrade. Cobra, I think we're evenly split. Zano has a deciding vote. So Cobra, Cobra 3, downgrade to Cobra. Everyone, I think that's a Cobra. Okay, so we're almost at 20. Let's pick this final one, and then as you guys pick the next one. And good evening to you, Lud. Great to see you joining us. So Berserker, we've got 1. Do you want 2? Could be nice. Very threatening in the early game. Light Warding, great if you can heal. We can't heal, but could still be useful. And then an upgrade again. Upgrade is just not going away. You guys got your Cobra and they're offering you another upgrade. So, what do you fancy? So, what's it going to be? We have 1 for upgrade, 1 for Berserker, another for Berserker. Some very solid picking. And because we're hitting 20 cards, it is looking like the votes are rocking for the Berserker. Berserker, I do declare it most probably is. Berserker unanimously. Okay, so I'm just going to tee up this next one and then we're going to do a deck review while you folks in chat decide what you want. So it's a Weaponsmith, Frostwolf Warlord, or Silverhand Knight. Right, we're now at 20 cards, so we're going to do a quick deck review. At the moment, let's take a look at the mana curve. Step 1, we've got quite a lot of early game, a little bit of mid game, so it looks as though we're rushing or controlling or getting minions down in the early game so far. We then leap in, take a quick look at minion against spells. 1, 2, 3 spells, 4 spells, 5, 6 spells, 7 spells, 13 minions. We are in quite a strong position there. And then let's run through the deck and see how roughly it's going to play. We've got Executes for control at any stage to get rid of big threats. Upgrade, we can only game control with the weapon or buff one of our other weapons. Axe for controlling, Cleave control for controlling, Commanding Shout for using minions to get positive trades and drawing cards as well if in doubt. Rampage for buffing up minions. A Silence, 2 for 1, Murloc Tidehunter early game pressure up minions. Cobra for trades. 2 Frothing Berserkers, which could actually become our big stars. They could do us some really good, powerful damage to our enemy hero. Harvest Golem for 2 for 1s. Tora Warrior, our small token taunt. Mortal Strike for immediate damage to something. Weaponsmith for more weapons. 2 Arcanite Reapers in there. They can be big face or warrior minion control damage. Tiger for a little bit of a mid-game threat. Lord of the Arena for our mid-game threat. So at this point in time, mana curve, balance of cards and specific cards, it looks as though we're getting minions down in the early game, controlling with spells and aiming to have a big minion presence on the table by mid game. What we do then, whether we rush for the win or whether we stay alive into the late game for big winners, it all depends on what we pick over the next 10 cards. So I'm saying early game pressure and control, mid game pressure. Do you guys want to take it to more of a rush, or do you want to maybe go a little bit more late game? It is entirely up to you. Righty then, so what is our vote? We have Warlord, we've got Silverhand Knight and Company. Silverhand Knight gets the nod. Next we have Mad Scientist, we have Rampage again, or Venture Co. Mercenary. The Mad Scientist, put a secret from your deck into the battlefield. We are a warrior. We don't have secrets, but it's a 2/2/2, so if we had a real tough choice, there could be worse choices. However, because it has the word science in, all of you scientific fans out there, vote for science. Next, we have a Rampage. Give a damaged minion 3/3. Again, we got 1, we could go for 2. And then last but not least, the Venture Co. Mercenary. At the moment, we don't really have anything bar Lord of the Arena that can be dropped afterwards. So, really, the Venture Co. Mercenary on turn 4 or turn 5 could be quite a killer play if we're going for real early game pressure with this warrior. Ooh, incoming with Rampage from Nuska. We've also got a couple of votes for Mercenary by the looks of things. Where's it going to be? At the moment, Mercenary leads. Tick tock, tick tock. Science, Mercenary, Silverhand, Redundant, Monster, oh, Rampage. We have 2 Rampage, 2 Science. I get the deciding vote. You know what, folks? In the early game, you've got some things that will take some damage. I want to go with Rampage. Let's make it nice and aggro. South Sea Deckhand. Ooh. Storm, Wind at Night. And the Fairy Dragon. So South Sea Deckhand, the pirates generally all synergize, combo, play well with weapons decks. We are a weapons deck. Has charge while you have a weapon equipped. We've got a weapon, we can throw that in and do 2 damage. Make some pirates. International Talk Like a Pirate Day has just of course gone. Next up, Storm and Night, low attack, higher health, has charge, can probably do very well against aggro, pick off lots of aggro minions or similar, or wither something away a bit before it perishes. And then the Fairy Dragon, 2/3/2, can't be targeted by heroes or spells, hero powers, sorry, or spells, and can throw itself in and do some damage, trade some stuff before we go. People pondering those, how are we on minions is the question. 1, 2, 3, 4 spells, 5 spells, 6, 7 spells. Yeah, 8 spells. 8 spells. Quick maths, 14 minions. So I think we're okay to answer your question. Knight. Chop, smashing, charge, hype. I think that's a knight. Dragons, a last minute bid for dragons from Dragon fan number 1. Ooh, 2 votes for dragons, 3 for knight. That was a very close one. Inventor, sorry I called that a tad early. But we were correct in the end. Knight did just get the winning votes. Imbecale, another silence. Magma Rager, that's probably going to die. Gnomish Inventor gives us some card draw and something that can do a bit of magma. Magma Trollface. So we have the Imbecale, the Magma Rager, or the Gnomish Inventor. We've got a couple for Inventor. I can see an Inventor, an owl from Maximal. Sally the Gnomish Inventor. Looks like a Gnomish Inventor then. 24, come on folks, we're getting there. Secret Keeper, Sergeant Commander, Argent Commander, and I'm doing lots of dots in the chat because of a slight delay. I know that it's going to be a popular choice. Angry Chicken. Enrage that for a +5 attack. However, it's only got 1 health. And the expected votes for the chicken come pouring on in. 2 votes for Angry Chicken. That'll very much be a mascot card. I missed that one, zoned out. Commander. 2 chickens, 2 commanders. I'm taking Do You Like Angry Chicken as a vote for Angry Chicken. Do I like Angry Chicken? I'd love it. Argent Commander is Steve the Argent Commander. I feel that Steve's got a backstory. What is Steve's backstory? We're going to have to tell that as we play a game. Oh! You almost got the chicken in here. Welcome, funny lad. It's great to have you with us. Next we have Whirlwind, Priestess of Elune, or Charge, indeed. And Whirlwind dealing damage to all, not some, but all minions on the table. Getting that pressure in. And yep, good for clearing stuff. Okay. Next up, Priestess of Elune, and the Priestess of Elune with a battle cry of restoring 4 health to your hero. Not bad in the late game, there's worse we could do. 5/4 will trade something, 6 mana is heavy, but the 4 health is a nice restore. And don't forget, we are swinging in with weapons, so healing ourselves is not bad. Last but not least, Charge, for any minion to attack and charge. I think we are thinking the same thing. We've got an Elune, and ooh, Elune. Yep, everyone is Eluning it up. Lunatics. Tide Hunter. And Silver Hand Knights. Okay. So, the Jungle Panther will drop on the table, could almost be cleared by an AoE spell. Stealth means it can't be directly attacked until we reveal it by attacking. Murloc Tide Hunter, a 2-for-1. We've got one of those. Do you guys want to be rushing on in? Or, last but not least, the Silver Hand Knight. Battle Cry, summon a 1/1, 2/2 squire. We've got 1, do we want 2? It's a great 2-for-1 card. Do we want to be pushing? Summon a 2/2 squire. It is looking like SHK. Lots of votes for the Silverhand Knight. Oh, we are going really nicely mid-game here. This is actually looking pretty fun. Good picks, guys. We've got a Corcoran Elite, a Dark Iron Dwarf, or a Leper Gnome. So, with the Corcoran Elite, charging in 4/4/3, we will be pressuring, be doing damage. Very, very nice. Goes well with our weapons aggro theme deck. The Dark Iron Dwarf, that can buff another minion up. So, we're going to be doing some good pressure there if we want, and with 4/4 attack and health, even if we don't buff something up that we can attack with, it's still a solid minion for its mana cost, so there's nothing bad about the Dark Iron Dwarf really. Give me a big hug is the poor impression I'm doing, but is also Flobbit's vote for the Leper Gnome. Dealing 2 damage to the enemy hero means that you can attack for 2/1 if it stays alive for 1 turn. If it's not silenced, it will still do 2 damage anyway. So Leper Gnome, we've got 3 elites, 2 Leper Gnomes, 3 Gnomes, 4 Gnomes, go Gnome or go home. Inspired voting phrases should all be slogan writers, go Gnome or go home. So I think, hang on, that was a close one. That was 50-50. No, it was 2 to 3 to 3 to 5. Oh, Gnome all right. Gnome gets the choice. Okay, we've got a Grimscale Oracle, Spiteful Smith, or Haunted Creeper. Don't be cruel, pick Gruul. I believe that reference to Gruul is just because somebody in a Stream of SS audience game smashed me in the face with Gruul and won with much pain. Oh, how I suffered at the hands of Gruul. Well, okay, so this is actually an interesting pick. Grimscale is great if you've got Murlocs. Gives all of your other Murlocs 1 attack. Hey, we got no Murlocs. I know you guys love Murlocs, but we don't have any in the deck, so maybe bear that in mind. Spiteful Smith, your weapon has +2 attack. Now, don't forget that we've got 3 weapons in this deck. We have got also a potential 4th with a Arathi or Weaponsmith, and then an upgrade could keep a weapon out longer. Creeper or Smith? Creeper or the Smith. So giving a weapon to attack will actually be kind of beneficial. And then it's got solid stats. But last but not least, we also have the Creeper with the death rattle of summoning 2 1/1 spiders. As soon as it perishes, it'll pop up and start putting pressure on again. So it could be a nice threatening early pressure choice. So it looks as though Creeper or Smith, seems as though you're moving towards that. We've got Creeper. Spiders creep me out. Spiders may well creep you out. I'm guessing that's a vote for the Creeper. Smithy, okay. What's your vote, lads? I don't care if it's a card. No spiders. Spider dislike. No spiders, alright. So I think we're going with Spiteful Smith or Haunted Creeper. So for Spite, let's go with Spiteful. Oh no, it was a genuine thing. Okay, Smith is the choice. It was a genuine statement. We've got a Death Lord, we have a Cold Light Seer, or a Commanding Shout. Okay, so Death Lord, that card. Some people like it. It's been seeing a lot of play in various constructed decks. I always seem to get bitten in the behind by it. That's the most polite way of phrasing it. Because that Death Rattle effect, your opponent puts a minion from the deck into the battlefield. Whenever I see one of those, I gun for it because I want to kill it to get something into the field, generally. And let's say on turn 4, your opponent kills your Death Lord and suddenly gets a 9 or 10 mana card. You can slow your opponent down, but never for that long. Oh, and therefore all the votes for Death Lord are already flying in. Next, Cold Light Seer. Great if you've got Murlocs again, and whether it's the Pirate family, the Murloc family, or similar. They always complement each other, all of these different sort of, if they've got a thing at the bottom in the middle of the card that says, oh, I'm a Murloc, I'm a pirate, it will always go well. Okay, so Commanding Shout, we got 1. Murloc will give the health, and Commanding Shout sort of gives us card draw, will prevent minions from dying for trades. Okay, it looks like, yep. Folks want to watch you get bit in the butt. That is your choice. It's your stream. Okay, Death Lord it is. You have spoken. Righty-ho. So, let's do a quick final review of the deck that you folks have chosen. Right, we will Warrior, and we'll do our 3 steps. It's our final review before we jump in. I can't quite screenshot that because it runs a bit long. But first let's look at the mana curve. How are we going to play? Well look, we've got all sorts here, but one thing's for certain. We've got a lot of early and mid-game cards. So we are looking to get pressure and control, probably get minions down in the early game, get spells down in the early game, just even before we take a look at anything else. We know that we're probably going to be very active in the early to mid game from this curve. Nothing late game, lots of stuff early. Let's take a quick look at the spells against minions to see what we're going to try and do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 rampages, wow. 8. Still got the 8 spells, so we've got a lot of minions. 8 spells, 22 minions. Now let's run through turn by turn by turn and see how it's going to be going. Executes we can drop whenever for control of big minions or anything we like. Nice to grab a couple of those. Upgrade will let us buff a weapon or have an early game weapon to control early game rush and aggro. Gnome, trade, aggro damage. War Axe, early game control. Cleave, early game control or whenever it's necessary. Commanding Shout will give us advantageous minion trades by keeping our minions alive one more turn and also giving a card draw. 2 rampages. If some of our minions get damaged, then we can do some nasty early game aggro. Iron Beak for silences, 2 for 1 Murloc, Death Lord. Yeah, I'm going to try avoid playing that. I love you guys really. Emperor Cobra, damaging minions for trades. 2 Berserkers could give us some really nice early game pressure. 2 for 1 Golem. Tank, also some more damage. Control on minions, attack to the face. Additional weapon, trading and controlling the table. Card draw, controlling the table. Controlling the table, attacking ability. 2 Reapers for controlling or attack. We've got a lot of versatility. The amount I'm talking about, control or attack, we can adapt our situation as we see fit. 2 Silverhand Knights, that will really let us get ahead in the mid game if we get ourselves in a good position there. The Smith will buff up our weapons, that can actually help us go in for the kill. Tiger, more attacking damage, trades or attack with the Argent Commander, Lord of the Arena and Priestess Evelyn. So if we're not ready to rock and roll by about turn 6 or 7, we're probably going to lose in the long game. So we'll see. How are we going to play this? I think in the early game it's get down minions, control with spells, what we have, get a good early advantage. I think we want to get damage on as soon as possible, keep the table under control with lots of minions, using our weapons if needs be, and then round about 4 to 6 mana we go in for the kill with what should be a superior and welcome to Pudo. Thanks for joining. We are going to start jumping in. You guys have picked this deck. I think it's nice. I think it's got good potential. We can go very aggressive and we've got lots of synergy, lots of really strong cards. Oh, and firstly we play a Hunter. So our goal of course is early game aggression and control. We're playing a Hunter, there's nothing we're really going to want to execute and those 2 cards are quite late, so I'm actually going to go for a full mulligan knowing that we have a lot of cheap early game cards we would prefer to have. That's the sound for, hey, that's not really an ideal. Fear the buzzards. Yeah, I'm fearing buzzard. And you know, how many early games cards did we have? A typical fail mulligan there. We're not doing anything until turn 3, apart from armouring up next turn. Down goes a coin, 2 mana drop from our Hunter friend. One's coming to play. Okay, a secret. We have no idea what that is, but we'll try play around it. Fear the buzzards, there's a Lud. Well, of course, buzzards are now 5 mana buzzards now. The buzzard has had its wings clipped. It may no longer fly like an eagle. Okay, well, I've got a steady shot to the face. Frothing Berserker going down. I'm going to throw down a Tauren Warrior for starters. I don't know whether this is a explosive trap. I don't know whether it's a freezing trap. Or a misdirect, who knows. So into turn 4. If it's an explosive, I could get that real buffed up, but of course it will be vulnerable to removal. I don't worry too much if it's a freezing and removes this. I would quite like the Berserker down. Iron Forge goes down and just does 1 direct to my face. Interesting. Okay, so now do I want to rampage and give a damaged minion 3/3? Maxi says I'd assume explosive, too early to put a freezing. Yeah, I'd agree with that, Maxi. So do I want to start getting, I can control, oh, okay, yeah, it is a freezing. Hey, slightly unexpected. Oh, I'm trying to remember. Okay, now this is a UK show, it's a UK reference, but I was about to say expect the unexpected. There is a show in the UK, for those of you not from the UK, called Phone Shop, and it is basically, you know, like a mobile phone salesman. The stereotype of a... just shove my reed back right back in my face then. Well, we don't know. Who knows, there could be a new player. There's nothing wrong with being new, remember. If there was anything wrong with being new and making mistakes, why then, I don't know. I certainly wouldn't be here, that's one thing for sure. Right, 2 secrets down. How do we play into this? I think we just play into it and see what happens. Charge! I'm explosive, freezing, misdirect. Oh, well, I still keep both minions alive. Now that's not triggered, so let's work it out. Oh, I'm going to throw down a rampage. So because I threw the Frothing Berserker down, it's not a snipe. You're just old. Phone Shop is not old. Phone Shop is not UK only. Oh, I'm gonna link it. But there's a character who's like, how can I describe him? He's like the best ever mobile phone salesman. He's part of a team called the Elite Selling Crew. He goes, Elite Selling Crew. He's like a bit of a street guy, and his sort of catchphrase, and he has this hand sort of gesture, is expect the unexpected. And imagine someone making an X with their hand. Okay, quite a niche UK reference there. My apologies. Anyway, back to the Hearthstone. We don't know what this secret is, and you know what? I want to find out. So, how are we going to find out? Well, we can trade this away, but then an explosive trap will make us very vulnerable. I'm actually going to Mortal Strike to remove this. There we go. Snake Trap. Oh, when one of your minions is attacked, summon 3 1/1s. However, we're going to do that trade, remove it. Oh, look at that. We've got a massive, threatening Frothing Berserker. Okay, so we have been reckless rocketeered, and we are now being overwhelmed by snakes. Snakes! Why did it have to be snakes? Okay, throwing down a weaponsmith. We can control one of them, we can armour up, we could Tauren Warrior, Gnomish Inventor for some card draw. Or we could just throw down a Lord of the Arena and go, hey, your move, pal. Your move, friend. The weapon, I think that gives us a bit more control versatility. I'm going to get the Lord of the Arena down and just say, hey, make a choice. You have the power to... Oh, and that's an excellent choice. Gladiator's Longbow deals with that in his sleep. And don't forget the Gladiator's Longbow, you're immune while attacking, meaning that he takes 0 damage. Oh, dearie me. So we have Battlecry drawing a card. And that is an old reference, and I'm proud, but I'm not proud of the... Okay, fair enough, Nooska. True. Maybe there are children in this day and age who have grown up without the pleasure of Indiana Jones in their lives, and if so, then I'm sad for them. I'm genuinely sad. I'm not, of course, including Indiana Jones 4. That's not even a film. You know, let us not speak of that again. I was telling my wiser half the other day about this phrase I heard about, which was nuking the fridge, or something like that. It's used in online film criticism for I'd never heard of it before, but basically it's when there's a moment in a film that is so ridiculous that you can no longer take any of the rest of the film seriously, and it has been created from Indiana Jones 4, where obviously Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford, survives a nuclear blast by hiding in a lead-lined fridge. Totally realistic. And then he gets out the fridge and looks up and sees the beautiful mushroom cloud above. And from that point onwards, no one can take the film seriously ever again. Right, okay, back to the Hearthstone. Well, I can swing in and drop an execute. That will do some good damage. And then I've got 8 to play with. Now I can enrage my weapon for 2. Okay. So the Priestess of Elune would heal me up afterwards quite nicely. But let's just get the execute combo off the table. I have taken the damage. I think an Elune is a nice play here. That tops us back up. And look, a very nice 4, not quite as much as we'd like, but look at these web spinners. This is dangerous. He can trade easily away, and by trading this away he draws 2 beasts. We don't know what this is going to be. It could be rather dangerous. It could be a terrible beast, or it could be King Crush. The fear as anyone fights a King Crush with charges and pain. Oh, I'm loving the Indiana Jones chat in the chat. Shia LaBeouf was great in that. Double Crush. I'm fear. Oh, and now we've got a double buffed Scavenging Hyena into a Savannah Wildmane. Oh my goodness, talk about killer late game plays. It's going to be hard for us to come back from this. Right, what do we silence? Well, silencing that removes the double spawn, but it's still nasty. Oh. Oh dear. I'm walking into some gags in the chat, but let's keep going anyway. So I'm not feeling good about this. The Tauren Warrior can slew things down. The Silverhand Knight will give us tradability. We can... yeah, you got a Hyena and a Highmane. I mean, of all of the good draws. Right, I'm going to Knight, for better or for worse. I'm going to silence this because I don't want the double trade. Yeah, I've gone for the silence on Simba. I do agree with you with the slight chat lag. I think so. I'm going to YouTube the reference that I'm looking for. So, there we go. Oh no, this video is not available in my country. Oh no. Oh, I found it. Okay, brilliant. I've managed to find the unexpected. And yeah, while I've been finding you a good phone shop reference, we've just lost the game. Yeah, this is pain. Oh. So, okay, for those of you saying, oh, 0-3-1-3, yeah, that's not the greatest start. We'll get one more game in and see what we can do. Try and finish on a high. So what were the challenges there? We actually got out reasonably well in the early game, I think, actually. But what just happened was that really what killed us off, it totally flipped the game, was like the sheer pain of the 2 beasts. Rampage is Simba. Oh, I could have done. Mage time. Okay, so against a mage. On theory again, we're still going to go with the same tactic. What we want is to trade for early games. We could have got better, harder attacking, more painful early game cards last time. Hey, upgrade Frothing Weaponsmith. Okie dokie, ready, so we can upgrade. I'm not going to upgrade straight away, no need. We can armour up, we can then drop into a Berserker or a Tauren. We want to save that, I think. There's nothing to control in the early game. Okay, so River Croc. I'm not going to upgrade to swing into that, I'm just going to armour up. Harvest Golem, I'm happy to throw that down, stop 2 for wanting it. Tauren Warrior, we have, yeah, that could also be a fun option. 2-2, is that going to be a fireball? Certainly is. And so the mage chipping begins. Commanding Shout is not going to be it. Right, we've got 3 choices. Choices times 3. The Golem will encourage some trading. It will be down but not out. The Warrior, well, if that buffs up, we will have a nice big attacking threat. It is a very prime target for a Frostbolt or similar. The Berserker will not die, but it will certainly be a sucked up threat, I think. I'm going to go with a Golem to start, seeing if we can grab some tempo. We can then go into an Arathi Weaponsmith. If he does try to tip and trade my 2-2 weapon, I can then upgrade as well, and that will give me some nice choices. Nice, Iron Beak Owl. Okay, so right, I think the Weaponsmith is a solid choice, and with this we can I can charge into this, use my warrior's health as a resource, remove that. Okie dokie, turn 5. Right, we've got that Drake down, which is quite nasty. Nothing to silence or deal with that so far. Expensive will be painful. The upgrade will let me keep swinging, or I could keep that for a bigger and badder weapon. I think at this point in time I'm going to keep it for a bigger and badder weapon. Throwing down the Taurenness can give us a bit of a tank and option. Commanding Shout I'm not going to do. What I am going to do is tip away this and charge him with that, and then I'm going to keep that weapon just in case I do want to remove this next turn. Okay, so we have a nice easy trade of Fire Blast. Down goes my Weaponsmith. We can remove it. It will hurt us a little, but you know what? I'm quite happy with this. It feels as if we're on the upswing. Righty-ho. So I'm actually feels like a good time. It's never a bad time to Origin Commander. Trade that away, and we've got minions on the table to get some pressure on. So let us keep moving through. Cone of Gold, nasty. That's going to slow us right down. Fire Blast, full clearance for 6 mana. Expensive using that Cone of Cold, but keeps him in the game and well within his rights to keep pushing on. Okay, I could Berserker and Cobra. I think I'm going to go for that rather than the Tiger. Okie dokie, down goes the Acolyte of Pain. We have had some sheepage. He's removed the threat. I can knock that off the table straight away, and I will do so. He will draw 1 card, but he's not going to draw any more. White Tiger, he's nothing on the field to hit with. It would be a good free turn to be able to attack without taking it damage. Maxi, that is a good option. I decided to go for some reason for sweeping the table. He wouldn't have been able to poly the Tiger, so that would have been another good attacking option too. A good point. Okie dokie, so Spiteful Smith can go down with it. If in rage, our Battle Axe will suddenly get 2 attack, so I think that could be quite a nice option, or we could go for that Tiger too. Tiger is stealth, so it's free to put down any time. Yeah, that's kind of a point also. I'm going to go for the smith, because I'm going to see if I can do something with this battle axe. Going to armour up, and then with the final swing, let us swing in with the sheeps. $500 viewers per stream of 3 streams a week. Okay. Maybe we can get there. Also upgrade. Yeah, I am at risk of removal without using that smith and upgrade. I don't know why I kept that upgrade. It's a good point. Nuska. I got so lucky. Right. Do I take the freeze? That's a question. I'll take the freeze. We'll get a 2 attack weapon. We could have an 8 attack weapon in a sec. I've taken that freeze. Remember, of course, if I take it on my go, it removes your next attack. That's the definition of freeze. It doesn't freeze you or stop you for the next go. It removes your next attack. So I'm not going to be able to attack my turn either. A very important note. So he's going to slow me down. Head of Ooze PR and Wisp Relations. Okay, so you guys calling for the tiger. The tiger has been called, and the sheep charges in to go and do its thing. Should have taken the freeze with your Spideful, says Niska. Good point, because I would have taken a freeze on that, and I would have also enraged for additional attack, which would have been quite cool. I don't think I would have had enough to remove it. My name's Ron Burgundy. It would have done 4, and then with my sheep I would have done 1. I would have been 1 down, but then I've just drawn 2 executes. And what kind of microphone do you use? I use a Blue Snowball. It's cool. It's got 3 different settings. You can effectively have sort of a narrow frontal setting. You can have a wide area setting. I think a few weeks ago Nuska mentioned you were very quiet. And the reason I was very quiet was because... Okay, do I have lethal next turn? No, not quite. I don't have 12 or self. I'm going to Commanding Shout to get some card draw. See, that gives me some options. It gives me options aplenty. I'm going to go ahead and Mortal Strike because I'm going to assume that this mage has no heal. A multi-blue snowball. That sounds like Never Eat Yellow Snow. So yeah, it's got 3 little settings. It's got a lot cheaper actually. It's actually got 20 quid knocked off it. Ooh, there's a few different options. So you can get it for like 20 quid less than this. You can get it a bit cheaper. So yeah, it was a little jobby, a little presenty jobby, but yeah, it works out pretty good. The one thing that I would just recommend with the Blue Snowball is being careful with the pivot, because using it, I've carried it in a lot of bags and it's my fault. I've abused it a bit through not keeping it in a box, and then the pivot's got a little bit funny on it, but yeah, I bought it myself, so yeah, recommend it very much. So, while we were swinging away there, actually deviated completely, having a chat about microphones, but you may see that we managed to get with our upgraded Arcanite Reaper and lots of other bits and bobs. So, and there we go, we come back to the 1-1 dream. So, upgrade combined well, our 2 Arcanite Reapers came through very well, and our big, actually solid late game minions, when we started dropping that Smith, that does a really, really good job. So, at 1-1, we will keep playing this until next Tuesday. Every now and then, we will be sure to tweet you when we are playing it and let you know, perhaps Thursday, Friday night. Come back this week. and I'll tweet when we're doing it and see some more. So thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's Hearthstone Half Hour. We have been picking your deck, and our Arms Warrior has gone 1-1. If you are watching on YouTube, please come and join us at twitch.tv/FailCraft Cast live sometime. We pick this live, we do live episodes 5 nights a week, and it'll be wonderful to see you along. Come say hello in the chat. You can register for Twitch free, or you can watch if you don't have a Twitch account, but joining the chat is awesome. Don't forget to check out youtube.com/FailCraft Casts. Our whole archive is there, 100 episodes or more of the Hearthstone Half Hour. Amazing stuff. And some other Heroes of the Storm, other game videos too, so other bits and bobs there for your fun, including me being terrible and failcrafting at Minecraft as well. And then last but not least, the website, failcraft.org. Lots of bits there, blogs, other things that don't live so well in a video form. And of course, anytime we're going to be going live, we occasionally stream lunchtimes as well as evenings UK too. If you can't catch it live, watch YouTube or follow on @FailCraftCasts on Twitter, and there you'll be able to see, because we always try and tweet as early as possible when we're going to be live every single day. And just love a chat too. Thanks for tuning in. Tomorrow night is going to be Wednesday, Ladder Wednesday. The glorious ranks of rank 10 this September season. So we're going to be continuing pushing our way up the ladder and seeing if we can get any closer to that elusive legend and do some time grinding. See you soon.